Hello everybody, it's good to be with you today. I hope everybody is doing well through this craziness that we've been living in these past few months. Uh, Again, I want to give a shout out to family and friends in Texas. And just a little quick word. Vinny, I know that you're struggling right now, and I know you're questioning God right now, but understand this, God's got you. None of this has caught him off guard. And he's got you, and you are a winner. Just keep telling yourself that you are a winner. So I wanted to come and talk to you today in just a few minutes. And if I had to give this a title today, I would probably just simply say love, love, love. And I want to start out, and I got a few scriptures I want to go through. I hope it won't take too much of your time. But my first scripture I want to talk to you about is 2 Timothy 1 and verse 7. And we've used this a lot, especially during this COVID era that we've been in. And you all know it by heart by now. But it says, "For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And we've really kind of drove home the spirit of fear, because I think that's kind of what struck the nation when this COVID started. But God gave us the power of love. And that is what I want to key on today is love. Love our fellow man. Love our neighbors. When God gives us something, it is an abundant gift. So if you think about the capacity that we have to love, you think about growing up, the love you had for your parents and your grandparents, and as you got older, you started loving, siblings that come along. Then you got married, and you didn't think you could love anybody more than you love your wife, and then your kids come along, and there's a whole different love there, and more kids come along, and then if some of you have lived long enough now, you've got grandkids, and that love is there and is as strong as ever. So the capacity that we have to love is endless. But too often times we limit that. We cut it off at family boundaries. We cut it off at racial boundaries sometimes, and at ethnic boundaries. But that's not biblical, and I want to share some things with you that I'll hope you can grasp a hold of this, and if you get nothing else out of this today, just know that we need to love our neighbor. And the definition of neighbor is basically everyone. The Bible tells us that if we love those that love us, then what profit do we have? It's easy to love somebody that loves you back. Where you have a challenge is loving somebody that you're not sure loves you back, or you're not getting anything back from. But in Matthew 22, and I'm going to start in verse 36, the disciples said, "Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Now we know that they were asking about the 10 commandments that Moses had got and brought down off the mount, and that the Jewish customs had built all of their customs and religions and things around. But Jesus said unto him, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all of thy heart, and with all of thy soul, and with all of thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. To love your neighbor as you love yourself." Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want ill will to me. I don't want to fall on hard times. I don't want to struggle all the time. I don't want to be broke, busted, and disgusted all the time. And I don't want you that way either. I want you to know that this pastor, this elder, truly and genuinely loves you. And Jesus went on to say this in John 13 and verse 34. He said, a new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another as I have loved you. Also love one another. Jesus commanded us to love one another. Now, he didn't command us to love somebody if they agree with us, love somebody if they have the same political views that you have, the same religious views that you have. He simply said to love one another. There's no greater commandment than to love. And Jesus said it in two different passages. He said it. The greatest is love. Love for God first, and love for your fellow man second. And then he went on to say this. As he was getting ready to ascend, he told the disciples, and he's telling us, if you love me, keep my commandments. That is a strong statement. If you love me, keep my commandments. And what was his commandments? The new one he gave you, to love one another. Now, 1 Corinthians 13 is a Bible definition of love. And the King James Version uses, in this instance, charity. But if you look at the Strong's Concordance, you'll find that it is love also. And other Bible translations translates this to love. But Paul says this, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and I have not charity, I have become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all of my goods to feed the poor, and though I have given my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity value not of itself. It is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own. It is not easily provoked. Well, we could all spend some time right there, because some of us are very easy to be provoked, and that's not love. So take the time to study that. It thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth, bearing all things, believing all things, hoping all things, enduring all things. Charity never fails, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether they be tongues, they shall cease. Whether they be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, but that which is in part shall be done away with. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I come in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. The greatest of these is love. And please, if you get anything else, understand that we have to have love one to another. We don't have to agree. We don't have to be on the same page about everything, but we do have to love. And in these perilous times with COVID and these racial things going on, sit down with a brother and talk with him. I'm going to share a story and then a quote, and I'll be done. And the story is simply this. There was two middle school kids got in a very heated argument in the classroom. They both were screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, insisting that each one was right and the other was wrong. Finally, the teacher, to teach them a lesson, called them to the front of the class. She put one on one side of the desk, one on the other side of the desk, and she set an object in the middle of her desk. And she asked one boy what color he saw, and he said, "I see black." He asked the other one what he saw. He said, "I seen white." He said, "I see white." Again, an argument enveloped over what the other one saw. They both was convinced that the other one's wrong, that what they were seeing was right. The teacher had them swap sides, and they both realized that from one side the object was black, and from the other side it was white. They learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes we need to look at something on the other side instead of just our side, and take that to heart. That is a valuable lesson. And the other one is this quote, and it's simply this, and I believe that it was Martin Luther King Jr. It may have been the other Martin Luther, but I quote, "Darkness cannot drive away darkness. Only light can drive away darkness. Hate cannot drive away hate. Only love can drive away hate." Thank you so much. Y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on Sunday.